the dark side of the upcoming Chiwenga regime. Before you celebrate, you have to understand this, mure Zimbabwe. So, triple pano pamzinda wevanhu ndini wenyu Super Galo, the boldest voice, the most entertaining political voice in Zimbabwe. So, for weeks on this channel, we have covered the rise of Constantino Chiwenga, the Goromon's power move, the military consensus, the June 6th deadline, the silent transition, and there is a real, genuine sense across Zimbabwe that change is coming, that the ED 2030 project is dying and the Chiwenga era is dawning. And a lot of people are celebrating, but today, pano, about the Mtapa Times, we have to do something uncomfortable, something that good journalism requires, even when it is not popular. We have to apply the same scrutiny to the men who might be coming that we apply to the men who might be going. Because if we only ever criticize the people in power and worship the people about to take power, we are not journalists, we are cheerleaders. And Zimbabwe has had enough cheerleaders. Right? So the dark side of the upcoming Chiwenga regime, back up, this one will make some of you uncomfortable. Right? Let us start with the most basic fact that the Chiwenga celebration tends to conveniently skip over. The United States imposed sanctions on Vice President Constantino Chiwenga in March 2024 under the Global Magnitsky Act. He is designated for being a leader or official of an entity that has engaged in serious human rights abuse relating to his tenure. The same sanctions list, the same legal instrument, the same serious human rights abuse designation that was applied to Mnangagwa was applied to Chiwenga on the same day, in the same announcement. Chiwenga was sanctioned alongside Mnangagwa, his wife Auxilia, Defense Minister Opam Chinguri, Police Commissioner Godwin Matanga, and others, all designated as key actors in corruption and serious human rights abuses. So, if you are celebrating Chiwenga's rise because you think it ends Zimbabwe's pariah status with the West, pump the brakes. The man who would replace the sanctioned president is himself a sanctioned individual. The international isolation does not automatically lift. It may simply change names at the top. Same list, same sanctions, different chair. Right, dark truth number 2, Gukurahundi. Now, we must talk about the part of Chiwenga's history that Zimbabwe and especially Matabeleland is never forgotten. Chiwenga participated in the Gukurahundi campaign as a brigadier in the army. Gukurahundi, the mass killings in Matabeleland and the Midlands in the early to mid-1980s, an estimated 20,000 civilians dead, carried out by North Korean-trained 5th Brigade, one of the darkest chapters in Zimbabwe's entire post-independence history. And the man currently positioned to become Zimbabwe's next president was a brigadier in the army during that campaign. To this day, not a single Zimbabwean politician, army official, or government operative has faced international sanctions for their complicity in the Gukurahundi violence. Now, CAB 3 abolishes the National Peace and Reconciliation Commission, the very body that was supposed to address Gukurahundi. Think about the layers of that. The current administration is scrapping the Reconciliation Commission, and the man likely to replace them carries his own Gukurahundi history. Who exactly is going to deliver justice and reconciliation for Matabeleland under a Chiwenga presidency? That is not a rhetorical question. It is one of the most important questions Zimbabwe must ask before it celebrates anything. I think Chiwenga, Ana Mini, Chiwenga equals Mini Baloy. Yes, maybe she will keep reminding him. Right, dark truth 3, the 2008 bloodbath. If you want to understand what a Chiwenga government might do when it feels its power threatened, you do not have to guess. You have the historical record, and it is terrifying. In November 2017, when Chiwenga's troops surrounded Mugabe's residence, he was already under international sanctions for his alleged role in leading a brutal crackdown on the opposition in the wake of Mugabe's apparent defeat in the 2008 elections. According to Africa Confidential, Chiwenga allegedly told Mugabe in 2008, "We can't lose elections. We can't hand power to the MDC. We are going to obliterate them." The military codenamed the plan CIBD during an April 8, 2008 meeting, standing for Coercion, Intimidation, Beating, Displacement. Coercion, Intimidation, Beating, Displacement, CIBD. That was the operational doctrine, and the 2008 election violence that followed. Hundreds of MDC supporters killed, thousands beaten, entire communities displaced, is one of the bloodiest electoral periods in Zimbabwe's history. In 2008, an MDC MP presented a High Court case naming Commander of the Defense Forces Constantine Chiwenga as an organizer of repressive activities by security personnel in Buhera. The court declared the military deployment unlawful, but army personnel reportedly remained. And here is a detail dripping with iron for our current moment. The judge who issued that 2008 order against Chiwenga's military deployment was Justice Bunu, the same Justice Bunu who, in 2026, sat on the Constitutional Court bench and suggested a referendum on CAB 3. Zimbabwe's history is a very small, very interconnected room. In March 2008, Zimbabwe, Chiwenga publicly stated that the army will not support or salute sellouts and agents of the West before, during, and after the presidential elections. That is a military commander announcing he will not recognize an election result he does not like. The same instinct that drives CAB 3, the refusal to let voters decide, has a long pedigree, and Chiwenga is part of that pedigree. Dark truth number 4. A military state with a military man at the top. Here is the structural concern that goes beyond any individual. Zimbabwe's ruling party and military are, in the words of a Human Rights Foundation report, joined at the hip until donkeys grow horns. The deep-rooted alliance between the military and the ZANU-PF traces back to the Liberation War. Mnangagwa was a civilian face on a military-backed state. There was at least a theoretical separation, a civilian president, a military establishment behind him. A Chiwenga president removes even that thin veneer. It puts the military man directly in the top chair. The general becomes the president. The barracks and the state house merge completely. As Human Rights Watch warned back in 2017, the uneasiness about the transition stemmed from the perception that the military that took over is cut from the same cloth as Mugabe when it comes to respect for human rights. Cut from the same cloth. That was the warning in 2017 when Chiwenga's tanks first rolled. It remains the warning in 2026 as his rise approaches. The bottom line. Replacing a man is not the same as reforming a system. Family. Here is the uncomfortable truth the Mtapa Times must deliver right now. The fight against CAB 3 is righteous. The defense of the constitution is righteous. Stopping a president from extending his own term unconstitutionally is righteous. But removing Mnangagwa and installing Chiwenga is not, by itself, reform. It is a change of management, same sanctioned status, same human rights questions, same military state fusion, same ZANU-PF, same liberation war power structures that have governed Zimbabwe since 1980. If Zimbabweans fight to stop CAB 3 only to install a new strongman who governs by the same logic, coercion, intimidation, beating, displacement, then nothing has actually changed except the face on the billboard. The real victory is not Chiwenga over Mnangagwa. The real victory is the constitution over both of them. A referendum that the people win. A judiciary that is genuinely independent. A military that stays in the barracks. A government, any government, that serves the people instead of surviving of them. Celebrate the death of Cape 3 if it comes, but do not celebrate the rise of any individual as if it is salvation. Zimbabwe has done that before in 2017 with this exact same man stinks, and here we are. Watch the new boss as closely as you watched the old one. That is the job. And the Panapam Zimbabwe one, we will keep doing that no matter who sits in that chair. Subscribe, Zimbabwe's most fearless political voice, even when it is uncomfortable. Do you think a Chiwenga government would be different or the same system with a new face? Drop your most honest take in the comments. Like, share, and support through join and super thanks. We hold power accountable. All of it. Every time. Ndini wenyu super galo. Peace.